Yeah, can't quite gel it out.
That looks like one of those things they put in years ago,
Yeah.
then have forgotten about it ever since. Yeah. I certainly don't need my hat on there. I'm always worried about my bald spot, but like I probably won't need to help from the sun here. Hey. Oh well, mate.
Oh, sorry.
That sounded interesting.
Yeah, I was just scared, like, if you were standing there, you'd hear
Sorry, man. Do you want me here? Am I cool to watch?
This way round for you. Do you want me to put it on for you? Is that right? Okay. Is that over your ears okay? Yep. Do you want me to move it at all? Or? Oh, sorry. All good? Let's move this up a bit.
Let us know if it's too loud or anything.
I'm just doing a victory selfie. Because, you know. So we'll go live whenever you want to. So, yeah, okay. I was going to say, like we're ready now. So what I'll do is we'll chat briefly about like the rules and stuff, like a bit of an introduction of Powerchair. Cool. Good afternoon and welcome to the Bowen Hills YMCA, where we are in position for the Queensland Powerchair Football Association finals matches of 2021. I'm Simon Smale and it will be my absolute pleasure to call all four matches this afternoon, starting with the semi-final between the reigning premiers and reigning champions Brisbane Strikers against Lions, and then the second semi-final between Brisbane City and Moreton Bay United. I'm really pleased to say that Jesse McCarthy, Brisbane City player and WA representative, is alongside me for this first game. Jesse, thanks very much for stepping in and helping us out with this first game.
My pleasure.
It's it's an exciting game, right? It's an exciting day at the end of a long season. We're lucky really to have had a season at all when you consider what's been happening in New South Wales and Victoria. They've not been able to complete their campaigns or even get it underway really. So we're very lucky up here, and I bet you're looking forward to getting stuck into it.
Yeah, we're super lucky up in Queensland. Hopefully COVID stayed away, so we've been able to continue competing as normal with minor hiccups.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's only been those couple of real minor pauses on competition. Other than that, it's been full steam ahead, which is fantastic. We'll just get a brief rundown from you, if you will, about some of the rules on Powerchair football. For those people who are tuning in for the first time, don't really know what this is about. So, essentially, you guys are in special wheelchairs. Most of you are in special power chairs called Strike Forces, is
Yep.
that right? And they are essentially, you have your control and you can go a maximum speed of
10 kilometers an hour forwards and backwards. The chair's capable of spinning 20 plus kilometers an hour sideways, I think. So pretty fast.
And that's a feature really of what we see in these in these matches. We
Yeah.
get plenty of spinning and we get plenty of fast shooting where you shoot an oversized soccer ball essentially.
Yeah,
and
about
it's,
shin height.
and it's heavier than a normal ball as well, isn't it?
Yeah, fully made out of leather. I've been hit with those a couple of times in the shins, and so far, not good.
I can imagine it's not that pleasant, to be honest. So it's 4 people on a pitch at once.
Yep, you got your 2 wingers, centre, and a goalkeeper.
Now I understand from talking to Tristan earlier on that the Lions team technically play with 4 teams out. Is that 4 players out in the field? Try and have a bit of a roving goalkeeper.
Yeah, in that situation, it's normally pretty good, but you've got to be really aware of your 2-on-1 situations, because if there's no one defending the back of the box, it could lead to a very open goal. So just got to be careful with it.
Just trying to work out some technicalities here. So you mentioned the 2-on-1 there, but that's one of the main rules, really, isn't it, in Powerchair football? You're only really allowed one-on-one battles for the ball, really.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
Within a 3 square metre area, which is up to the referee, who we saw there, Mark Simon Green, to adjudicate.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you've got a goalkeeper who's inside his area and then he can sort of nip in.
Yeah, so the ruling is if technically your goalkeeper has a bib and he's allowed inside the box, and if someone's immediately outside of the box, that's on his team. He won't cause a 2-on-1 unless there's another defender with him that's also close to that player. Then it'll be a 2-on-1 against that player and the non-bib player in the defensive goals.
So it's interesting, and I've mentioned it already actually, but I've said him a couple of times because all of you guys playing today are blokes, but this is a really equitable sport because it's male and female, it's completely mixed elsewhere. I think in the under-21s team, Rebecca Evans from WA was in the Australian under-21s team last year for the Asia Pacific and Oceania Cup.
Yep.
Competition, which of course you were a player in as well.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to captain that team, so yeah, it was a good experience. It is a mixed team. You probably see a lot of variety of disabilities, from people with complete quadriplegics to people with muscular dystrophy. Me, myself, I'm an incomplete quadriplegic from birth, so I've still got movement and feeling everywhere. But yeah, it's just completely diverse. Hopefully there's more females competing, because give us guys a good kick in the pants. It'll be good.
Absolutely. And look, it's and that's one of the great things about Powerchair football, as you've already mentioned, a wide range of disabilities on display, and it really is. And I have had this explained to me a couple of times. Once you're in the chair, you're all equal, right?
Yeah, exactly right, yeah.
There are 2 different classifications for players at an international level, though, P1 and P2, from what I understand. And that's to do with mobility, so that you can look behind you, for example, right?
Yeah, so a P1 player normally has limited neck movement that can't see more than 180 degrees in front of them. They also have limited hand movement, so if they get rocked really hard and their hand falls off the controller, they're unable to lift their hand back up on the controller within 3 to 5 seconds is normally the ruling for that. And it also comes down to chair control. You could be borderline P1 on P2 just based on chair control, really.
Sure, because one of the best players in the world is Australian, Abdullah Karim, doesn't have any arms, so obviously that doesn't apply. He's technically a P1, I think.
I think the technical ruling from APO was, I think he's technically a P1, but he's been borderline P1, P2 for many, many years now.
Because he is one of the best players in the world. He was MVP at the last World Cup. We'll go on to that later, because the 2 teams are now being introduced and going through the pre-match ceremonies, and it's Brisbane Strikers against Lions. So we'll just run you quickly through the squads. Strikers will have Josh Merkus, who wears number 6, an Australian Poweroo representative and Queensland player. He played in the World Cup in 2017, which the Poweroos came 4th. Then you've got Darcy Clues, who's had a fantastic season. 21-year-old, scored 9 goals to lead the competition. Oh, sorry, apologies. That's over the course of the last year, because it's Jack Parry who leads the number of goals scored this season with 7. He's got 3 assists as well. Jack Parry, he's an Aussie under-21 player, along with yourself, Jesse. He played for the Queensland Barbarians at the National Championships in 2018. He was actually the MVP as well. Number 45 is Sam Yucatil. He's scored 5 goals and 4 assists. He's had a fantastic season. Sam,
yeah, he's another under-21s player. Had the pleasure of captaining. He's pretty good.
He's really coming on as well over the last few years.
He's really improving.
And Tyler Harmer will be the player who doesn't have a number. We'll just quickly run you through lines. Number 1, Zach Burley. Number 2, Tristram Peters. He's fit for rep, General Secretary of the Asia Pacific Oceania Executive. More experienced player. Mark Warren will wear number 3. Number 21, Tom Byrne. And number 51, Bailey Abra. But it is strikers in the yellow and blue who will go from left to right. You'll see the players manoeuvring themselves at the moment. Tristram Peters in the bib, which you might be able to see in the orange for Lions. So he is the nominal goalkeeper, but he was saying earlier that they do try to play 4 players out. And Tristram Peters is a vastly experienced player. He scored 3 goals in the final of the last national championships, which were held in Brisbane in 2018. So he's a fantastic goal scorer as well. Has scored just 2 goals this season. A season has been very even. This we're going to see our first one-on-one battle, and the speed at which these chairs can rotate, Jesse, it really is something to behold.
And can you move my chair out of the way, please, so I don't get taken out by Josh? Because he'll have... It's right, just grab the bull bar and... There you go, that's good.
Yep. Josh Merkus is going to spin the ball into a dangerous area here. We are a little bit short on space. That's a good effort, and it was Jack Parry who had the final touch. Ball was blocked. Now Mark Warren is going to go up against Josh Merkus. Warren did well. Ball's found its way all the way back to Zach Burley.
Goal kick.
It will be a goal kick. Again, we saw the ability of Josh Merkus, who is more of a player who's able to do those set pieces. He's a bit of a master at those and getting the ball into the right position.
Yes, Josh Merkus is very good at what he does.
That'll be a Lions ball. Mark Warren doing well to leave that one and let it go out. So Zach will attempt to play this ball inside. Josh Merkus just nipping in there, an opportunity for Parry. Burley comes back. Burley's going to have to be alert here. That's a really good opportunity for Parry. Oh, and Tristram Peters just reversing back to stop that ball from crossing the line. That's great experience from Tristram Peters. He's now up against Josh Merkus, trying to find a way through. Again, the players can't just spin with impunity, otherwise they'll give away a free kick for knocking into their opponent. That's excellent work from Josh Merkus. Again, Tristram Peters just knowing what his chair's capable of and making sure he's blocking off all the angles, and that's worked out really well for Lions. An opportunity now for Burley to go forward. Yucatil has done well there, and that's a really good battle between those 2 young players. Here's Sam Yucatil, who comes out on top, but Burley again. And here's an opportunity for Warren, playing the ball across to Burley. Burley's going to shoot. No, he'll try and play it back across, but Jack Parry is there, and now Josh Merkus is going to go on a little bit of a run downfield.
Zach Burley seems to be getting back there quite quickly. I'm not sure if he's 10 kilometres or not.
So this is something that happens at perhaps the international and national level. Players will be checked, and the wheelchairs will be checked for speed. It can be a contentious issue, I understand. So try and explain what players are trying to achieve when they're doing those set pieces. A lot of it is just little touches to try and just deflect the ball a little bit. Is that right?
Yeah, so think of it like the all-dreaded maths subject in high school. This sport revolves a lot around angles and triangles, trying to manipulate the ball just enough to get the angle off the other chair.
There's an opportunity for strikers, Yucatil. And again, this is the 2-on-1 situation where a goalkeeper is allowed to be in the near vicinity as Merkus tries to get the ball towards Parry. Did well. It's gone back to Josh Merkus. Tristan Peters is out. A little bit of contact there. Now that's really good work from Parry. Merkus with a spin shot. Oh, he's going to have another opportunity. And again, working those angles, and that's going to be the opening goal. And it was Yucatil who got the final touch.
Good job, Sam.
That was a really good goal. Really nice football from strikers. Again, it was Josh Merkus who was pulling the strings at the top of perhaps the arc. Jack Parry getting the deflection, and then Sam in the right place at the right time.
Yep, all about those angles.
So the early goal to strikers. It's 20 minutes each way, Powerchair football.
Yes, when you're on the court it feels like about 5 minutes each way.
I can imagine. And strikers in possession again, and there's been no real test for Darcy Clues, who's acting as goalkeeper at the moment for strikers, as Yucatil just gets the better of Zach Burley there, but Burley comes away with it. Warren is free on this near side. That ball has gone out. It will be another set piece from this near side, and Josh Merkus just assessing his options.
Yeah, Lions got a bit stuck there. There was a 2-on-1 situation and neither of them could go for the ball, unfortunately. So Josh just watched it out.
With a lot of the players who do play Powerchair football, communication can be a bit of a problem depending on the level of disability, but it really shows how important communication and being aware of your surroundings is when you get those situations and then can't capitalise on them.
Yeah, so both Mark Warren and Darcy Clues both have, I think, double hearing aids, each player. So, yeah, for particular players, communication needs to be really loud and really clear for those players to understand as quickly as possible.
Again, you can see the positional awareness these players have, and that's really good defensive work from Tristan Peters, who will take the ball out now, going up against Josh Merkus. Another good one-on-one battle between those two Australia representatives, and Merkus has got a bit of a run on here.
And this is where it could be dangerous. Tristan got beat in a battle, and unfortunately he's the bib player, and if he calls the 2-on-1, that would be very dangerous, especially with Josh in control.
Yeah, one of the more experienced players. An opportunity here for Parry, perhaps, to get a spin shot in. Burley was in the right place at the right time. It's going to come back towards Parry, but again, Zach Burley did really well there just to manoeuvre himself in the right position. Strikers have set themselves up so well, and they're really pinning lines back here. And that will be a free kick, and just a little bit loose from Sam Yucatil. Zach Burley certainly knew that he'd been hit. And it must be quite jarring when you do get those contacts. Not a lot of suspension in those in those chairs.
Yeah, no suspension in the chairs. It's just steel on steel, and yeah, you can feel your bones rattle for a little while afterwards. I've experienced many of times with those.
And that's why a lot of the players as well are strapped into their chairs, right? Because again, with mobility issues and those collisions, you don't want players sort of throwing themselves all over the court.
Yeah, it's also down to the player's ability to hold themselves up, as well as how fast they can really control the chair. Because if you've got someone who can't hold themselves up and the chair's too fast, then you're going to end up on the floor.
There is a fair amount of speed in these chairs, particularly in the way they spin, as Parry just can't quite get that ball under control, and it will be a goal kick. Again, I'm being very impressed with the way strikers have set up, putting Merkus at the apex of that arc and then using Yucatil and Parry out wide. And these are all young players who will have their eyes firmly set on on next year, October next year, at the 2022 World Cup.
Yeah.
It's probably looming large for all you players at the moment, looking for an opportunity to play in a home World Cup.
Yeah. 2-on-1 with Zach Burley and Mark.
Yeah, so Burley was just coming back to work on his defensive duties and then just encroached in that 3 metre area.
Yeah, it's quite difficult to pay attention to everything on the field. But 2-on-1 should, definitely be paid attention to because it's a make or break for a game.
Merkus, parry, just trying to get a slight deflection, ended up.
Interesting, I thought that came off the front of Tristram's guard there.
I think it did as well. Tristram's just needs a bit of help getting changing the bib to Zach Burley. So changing goalkeeper for Lions, perhaps a slight change in tactics as well. Burley has been coming back an awful lot and working as that goalkeeper, so again, just a slight tactical shift from Lions, who of course are chasing the game but really haven't tested Darcy Clues up the other end of the field. No. Ball has been given to strikers, and it will be Parry who will have the opportunity to spin this in. Merkus is lurking. It'll be Merkus who'll take the shot. No, he goes back to Parry. Parry will try and work it from an acute angle, and he wins a corner. So it's a good outcome for
another corner, yeah.
For strikers.
Can you just push my chair that way a bit?
Sure
so I can
can.
see? Thank you.
So Parry will take once again. Merkus in a good position. Yucatil's been marked by Warren over on this near side. Peters has surrendered the bib, but to distinguish him as being the goalkeeper.
Go through the gap there.
So that's a common tactic, is it, Jesse? Just to try and work between the defender and the goalkeeper?
Yeah, sometimes you can hit it hard enough to outrun the defender, but yeah, you've got to hit it quite hard to be able to do that.
Didn't quite make the right amount of contact, did
No.
Jack Parry there. Goes again. Peters was alert to the danger. He goes out chasing the ball and wins a goal kick. So that's good defensive work from Lions and Tristram Peters, who has started to move upfield, and that's probably a tactical shift that he understands, that he needs to be slightly further forward. And try and have a bit more of an influence further up the pitch, and he has started to make that influence. Warren gets the ball back inside. Peters, that's still a long way out, but there could be a 2-on-1 here for Lions. It's Tom Byrne over on that far side of the field. Byrne might keep that one in, just about keeps it in, no foul. It's a one-on-one battle with Josh Merkus. Josh Merkus has done really well to defend. Peters now gets the ball across. Warren. Now Peters, he'll take his time. First real attacking opportunity for Lions, this. Peters needs to create a bit of space. Warren is lurking. Peters tentatively trying to find Warren. Warren gets a shot in. He'll have another couple of goes, will Mark Warren. It's really good defensive work again from Josh Merkus, and Merkus will take the ball upfield, and he'll go now, Merkus. That Burley goalkeeper. That ball's still in. Burley did brilliantly there.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Most of the Queensland players run right on that 10k limit for another chair to catch up from behind is, quite interesting.
In theory, it shouldn't happen. Right, here's an opportunity. Mark Warren will have a shot and burn, and it's just going to go wide. That was a really good opportunity for Lions.
Yeah, that was very close.
Excellent football. Tristram Peters, Mark Warren and Tom Byrne just linking up there. Tom Byrne has one goal so far this season.
Could have made it two.
Youth Member of Parliament for Moggle. Tom Byrne, I understand. 21-year-old. Kicking goals off the pitch as well. Peters just nips in there and intercepts that ball again. The two more experienced players, Merkus and Peters, coming together. Peters has been a mainstay of Queensland Powerchair football for a long time, since its inception really. 2016. It's when the league started. Strikers have won every single premiership in that time. They've also won every single grand final. In fact, they've never lost a finals match in Queensland. Although the last time these two teams met in a finals match, it was at the 2020 Australian Powerchair Football Association Club Championships down in Sydney. And Lions won that game 3-1 in the 9th-10th playoff. It was a game that Josh Merkus didn't play, though.
Yes.
So it should be taken into consideration just how important a player Josh Merkus is. But nevertheless, a good win for Lions.
Yeah, it's quite difficult when you've got one of your key players out. I remember when Bryce broke his leg and I had to try captain the team with myself and the rest of the Brisbane City team. It was quite difficult, but you learn a lot in those experiences too.
That's Bryce Castles, the current Queensland Powerchair Football Association president, who is captain and coach of Brisbane City.
Yep.
So he wears a number of hats, does Bryce Castles. 3 goals and 2 assists for him this season. And he used to wear a shin pad, didn't he?
When he broke his leg.
I imagine that would be very disconcerting if you're in a chair and this ball, as you've already mentioned, has some heft to it, comes flying towards you. It would be very disconcerting as Peters does well. Just take the ball past Yucatil. He'll get the ball back, Peters. Merkus is just ever present there, just making it really difficult for Lions to make any forward progress. Tom Byrne, though, doing well, battling with Merkus. Ball is being held up. Merkus just trying to squeeze through. Byrne. And again, it's a battle, really, of minds as much as physicality between the two players, because obviously you want to try and get the ball forward, so you're hoping to concede a little ground to then able to get the ball free. Otherwise, it can get caught in those situations quite a lot.
Yeah, you've got to try to be very level-headed in a battle, especially when coming across Tristram or Josh Merkus. It's very, very testing.
Again, it's interesting seeing the more experienced players having to get out the way to make sure they don't get that 2-on-1 situation. Warren does well on this near side. He'll keep the ball in. Merkus comes across. That's a good ball inside. Merkus was alert to it, though, and the prospect of that ball coming inside. Now Peters right in front of us. And Peters does well to keep that in. This is a really good opportunity for Lions. Peters is just going to keep going here. Again, he won the Golden Guard in the national finals in 2018. That was the last time that the state-based competition was able to take place due to coronavirus. It was the first time that it was held up here. You represented Western Australia, a real good learning opportunity for yourself in that situation, to be put into an unfamiliar environment with different teammates.
Yes, it was quite a fun experience testing, but learnt a lot from it.
WA made the semi-finals, I think.
Yeah, I think we made the top 4. I'm not sure if they've won a game before then, but yeah, apparently that was their best competition they've ever played. So I'm glad to be a part of it and help them out with it.
Yeah, you played a key role in that team as well. There's another competition that we live streamed. Again, taking this really entertaining sport to a wider audience, and hopefully the World Cup next year will be able to increase that. Of course, you're always on the lookout for players, so if you are a Powerchair user and you are enjoying what you're seeing and think, yeah, I could give that a crack, then why not get in touch with the Queensland Powerchair Football Association on Facebook or Twitter or any social media channels.
Yeah, we also just bought a new strike force recently, so anyone who wants to try out and is serious about the sport, they can try one of the high-powered chairs, get in it, see how it feels, and yeah, would be able to lend it out until their new NDIS plan allows them to get a new chair, so you can fully fund them through NDIS now, which is really good for community access in sporting. That's really good.
Such an important part of anything that you guys do, to be able to have that opportunity to play sport and to play the sport that you want to play. Merkus has just got in between 2 defenders here. They're probably quite close. That could be a 2-on-1 situation for Lions if they're not careful.
Zach Burley has the bib on, so as long as he has one wheel within the goalkeeper's box, he'll be fine.
It would be important for Tristan Peters to remain as far away as possible, and that's a corner. And Peters had to be really alert to the possibility that that ball might just sneak in at his near post, and that's obviously what strikers were looking for as well.
Yes, Jack Perry is a sneaky little kid when he wants to be. It's not fun to verse.
He's another of the new guard, really, playing in this sport. Again, the 2018 Championships, New Zealand had a team come over, had two teams in fact, and they were full of young players, young teenagers who all play in Auckland.
Yeah.
So that was really great to see, and it is good to see so many young people playing this sport, is it not?
Yeah, it was actually quite a fun experience. One year I had the pleasure of playing with Luke Alderton for Brisbane City, so that was a fun experience, learning how they play. Was able to teach some people some new things, how Brisbane players play. So it's always fun seeing how different countries compete and all different ages.
Tom Alderton is a real star, isn't he? He's a really fun person to talk to.
Luke Alderton.
Luke Alderton, sorry, yes. He was a really fun person to talk to at the 2018 Championships. As the whistle goes for half-time, which strikers dominated proceedings. But Lions showed that they had a little bit of bite of their own, and they'll take a little bit of confidence going into half-time. The scoreline is just 1-0, and it was Sam Ukatil who got his 6th goal of the season in scoring that goal. Jack Parry adding his 4th assist. So a good start, an entertaining half of semi-final Powerchair football. Jesse McCarthy is alongside me here at the Bowen Hills YMCA.
Learn from the best so far. It's real eye-opening.
And it's only been recently that there's been 4 teams. This is the second season that there's been 4 teams
Yes.
in the competition. It first happened in 2019. Of course, 2020 was pretty much written off. But it is really interesting in how many good players there are in Queensland. And Queensland, of course, are the national champions, reigning national champions. And you are all playing against each other week in, week out. You're all learning off each other. So it really is a case that you've got a lot of talented players and you're all pushing each other to become much better players as a result.
Yeah, I think we've also got a slight benefit because if we intake any new players, and when we do get those, they're already playing with the best. They're already getting mentored with the best. There's not really such a junior league in Queensland, but we're all mixed with everybody, so everyone learns really quickly, and that's how we get such a high caliber player. Everyone plays together from day one. So
there are 2 new players who are playing this year in these 2 squads. Tyler Harmer, who hasn't seen any court action in that first half. He's a new player for Strikers this year, and Bailey Abra, he's also a new player for Lions, but he was playing for Western Sydney Wanderers in the Junior League down in Sydney, and he looks like he's replaced Mark Warren in this second half, so he'll be wearing the number 51 will have the number 51 banner on the back of his chair.
Well, you've just taught me something I didn't know. Played for Western Sydney Wanderers. I knew he was from Sydney, but never knew he played for Western Sydney. So that's a good experience for him.
But Peters goes deep with the kickoff. Lions in their orange, and all the clubs in this particular competition have names lent to them, or use the names of teams in the National Premier League's Queensland. Strikers, Lions, Brisbane City, of course, Jesse McCarthy's team, who joins me for this second half. And Moreton Bay United. You take on Moreton Bay United next. And you had a good season, just finished just 3 points behind Brisbane Strikers this year as Abra puts the ball into the centre of the court.
Yeah, thankfully Brisbane City have played pretty well as we see a battle between Josh and Tristram again.
They've been going at each other all through the first half, and it's good to see them continue that in this second half. Merkus really manoeuvring, and we were talking about having to give a little to get a little in those one-on-one battles, and Merkus is a bit of a master at that.
Yeah.
To be always able to create a bit of space, but Peters knows where the space on the court needs to be, and he just marshals the areas very well.
Yes, he does. He's very good defensively. I think last club championships, him and Mark Warren took on a whole team by themselves as two players weren't able to compete because they failed the speed test.
Wow.
So, yeah, they're very well defensively.
And again, that comes from experience, of course. Like, it can be a fair amount of...
Lots of experience, yeah.
Just appears that Bailey Abra is just having a little trouble getting back hold of his controls, but
yeah,
and that can happen, as we've already mentioned, with different players and their different degrees of disability. As Merkus looks to set this up, is he going to go for goal here or just look for a deflection all the way through?
I'm thinking a deflection. It's too far out from goal, but Josh Merkus is a miracle worker, so I wouldn't count it out.
Here's the deflection, and Tristan Peters spotted that ball on its way through to Jack Parry and snuffed out the danger. Good crowd in attendance today, enjoying the matches. A couple of people up on the balcony as well, so glad that there are a few people enjoying this semi-final match. There's a few people watching online as well, and that's great to see as well.
Yeah, I think a support working company, Inclusive Care, put it out in their rosters that there was a final, and thankfully Inclusive actually supports most or some of the guys here with all their care work and support work and personal care.
Great.
That's also always very helpful.
Yeah, of course. Some strikers have just crabbed their way up this near sideline, and they'll have another opportunity to put the ball into the middle. Merkus again. And Jack Parry is being double marked almost. Again, we mentioned that it's 2 and 1's okay if you're wearing the bib and you've got at least one wheel in the goal area.
The question is Josh going to be able to thread it between Jack Parry and behind Tom Burns towards Sam at the top of the box?
Because he's all on his own at the moment. Went for goal.
Yeah, look, he's done that to me when I played for WA. I wasn't ready for it. Yeah, very unexpected move, and for him it pays off. Just got to keep an eye on the back of the box.
You described him as a miracle worker before. And here's an opportunity for Lions up the other end. Abra just can't quite get the ball under his control, but Peters will take it up now. And Peters just ran out of room, and tight confines of these courts. You see people scrambling for cover on the sideline. Merkus will try to get the ball upfield. See Abra just marking Yucatil there. Yucatil will latch onto it. Peters will play it back, but Yucatil got the deflection. Those deflections can be awkward, especially inside your attacking half, because then if it comes back and the goalkeeper's not ready.
Yeah, look,
it's happened a few times.
Yeah,
matches.
It's dangerous. That's where playing 4 up could be dangerous, because if the goalkeeper gets contact and someone ricochets it that quickly, then there's no one to defend the box.
does look like Lions have left Zach Burley back a bit more on this second half as Peters can't quite cushion that ball. An opportunity for Ucatil and Parry. Ucatil with the shot, Parry now, and that's a good save from Zach Burley. And Parry and Ucatil are linking up really well there, and again, just creating that, making the goalkeeper move essentially. We talk about it in all forms of football, and it's no different in Powerchair football, is it?
Yep, push and pull.
Hope Darcy Clues is okay. He's been on his own for most of this match.
Yeah, sometimes it's difficult being in that situation. I personally, before I got my strike force, was a goalkeeper. So, especially when you're on a good team, but you just got to remember you're always contributing to the team, always keeping a clean sheet.
Ucatil back to Parry. Ucatil again. He'll try and spin the ball in. Just unable to do so. Oh, Ucatil's done really well there, Sam Ucatil. Just running out of space, and Tristan Peters is occupying that space really well. And he's managed to get the roll of the ball as well. Merkus is just occupying space. Abra is up. Peters and Merkus. A little bit of contact, Merkus does well. Burley and Merkus. There's no goalkeeper, so if Merkus can get the ball past Burley towards Sam Parry over on the far side, could be in business, Strikers, for their second goal. They do lead by a goal to nil in this first half. Ucatil's going to spin, then decides he's not going to, and it's a 2-on-1, and it will be a free kick for Strikers, and this is a little bit closer.
Yeah, that's where you got to make sure you don't get caught out in a 2-on-1, because very quickly, as you can see, Jack Parry set up in the centre, and if Josh just hits it hard enough, he can very easily get a touch, or he can go wide to Sam on the post.
Can Jack just back away and let the ball follow him in?
No, unless it touches each chair, because it's an indirect kick.
Right. Looked like he was trying to do just that. Got a touch, still there for Merkus. Merkus plays it back inside. Helped away brilliantly by Burley, and Byrne isn't going to be able to latch onto that. And again, Strikers on the attack, Lions having to defend. And it's very difficult for Lions to get the ball up the court at the moment.
Yeah, the passing lanes are just not 100% open at the moment, and Josh just seems to be shutting everything down.
It's the mark of a good player, being able to play offense and defense.
Yeah.
The same ability, and you're right, Merkus is just occupying space, and he's occupying space so well. It's a good angle in the end for Lions. They could get out here. Byrne and Peters trying to link up, but Merkus again nipping in where he needs to be.
Yeah, I think he was trying to draw that 2-on-1 there.
And that's going to be a Striker's ball.
Yeah, it came off Trisham's guard, unlucky.
And that's another mark of a good player, being able to spot those 2-on-1 possibilities and then making it work to your advantage. So, set piece on this near side. Tim Merkus has been told to move by Josh. Josh plays it inside. Burley clears. Tom Byrne is...
Tom's Josh is going to... No, Josh made it go in.
So it's a really good shot from Parry, and then Ucatil. And it's another goal for Sam Ucatil.
Yeah.
And will Parry be credited with another assist for that, just helping it on its way through?
I think so, yeah. That would be another assist to Jack Parry.
So that combination working wonders once again. And a goal in each half to Sam Ucatil has given Strikers a 2-0 lead in this semi-final. And again, it was masterfully worked by Josh Merkus. Merkus, who has 6 assists for this season, 47 assists in his career. He's got 53 goals in his Powerchair Queensland career, Josh Merkus.
Yes, he's been in the game for a long time, and I don't think he's going to be out of it anytime soon. He's just too good. If anything, I think he's in his prime at the moment.
So a warning sign for those in New South Wales and perhaps those who are going to be coming to Australia for the 2022 World Cup as well. A 10-team tournament. The teams have already been set. Australia, of course, Japan, England, Ireland, Denmark, Northern Ireland, the USA, Argentina, Uruguay and France are the competing nations. If Josh Merkus is at the top of his game now, if he can continue that form to this time next year, that'll be good for Australia as Parry just tries to back in there to Burley. Burley gets the ball away. Merkus has an opportunity to further extend the lead. He's going up against Parry. Against Burley, sorry. Burley doing really well just to hold Merkus. Merkus and Burley.
Just off the side of Zach's chair there.
Another striker's ball. Play it inside. Parry's there. And Peters just shepherded that out. Will be a goal kick. Or did it go off on the sideline? Just on the sideline.
Yeah. Substitute happening. Bailey's coming off. Mark Warren's coming on.
So Abra had a couple of opportunities, but Mark Warren's had a rest and he's back on the field now.
This is a bit dangerous. Zach took the kick and it's a 2-on-1. Sam and Josh, it was a 2-on-1 against.
So Lions get away with one there a little bit.
Yeah. Got to watch for this ricochet though. Open goal.
Oh, Yucatil's there. Peters though, and he has options. He can't get the ball past Merkus, who's positioned so brilliantly. Peters does well to keep that in. Merkus goes back into the centre.
Darcy needs to be alive now. He's got to be awake.
He's certainly made himself available, and Lions are playing with no keeper at the moment.
Just driven out by Zach Burley there. Josh's ball yet again.
Parry cushions that ball. It come off his guard though, and he lets a little cry of frustration. He's been very good, Jack Parry, today. And it's very difficult to cushion the ball when it comes to you in these chairs. Again, there's not much give in steel.
Yeah, that's yeah, lots of chair control. It is possible, but you just got to work it.
That ball is just run out.
We might need to move my wheelchair again.
Yep, and we'll just move you back a little as Josh Merkus looks to play the ball back inside. Has Josh
Hopefully he doesn't hit me.
Has Josh got enough room there?
I think he does.
Just telling Sam to get into a better position. Sam Yucatil, and that is Sam Yucatil's ball. Just lets it run. An opportunity perhaps for Lions. They'll spin the ball, Burley. And now an opportunity perhaps for Tom Byrne, although the ball's just going to beat him over the byline.
Goal kick again.
There are some promising signs for Lions, but you wonder whether or not they're going to run out of time.
How long's left? 6 minutes?
Still 6 minutes, so there is time enough for a couple of goals. You've already mentioned how things can change in an instant, and a goal for Lions will make things interesting. It's 2-0 at the moment, 2 strikers. Both goals scored by Sam Yucatil, both set up by Jack Parry, but again from balls delivered by Josh Merkus, who deserves at least half the credit for some of those assists.
Yes, Lions have managed to undercut us once and scored on the last minute, so they are possible of doing it.
Clever ball from Tristram Peters to find Tom Byrne. Again, that's excellent chair control, just moving the ball back.
Yeah.
And then changing the angles somewhat, and an opportunity for Lions. There haven't been too many of them. Darcy Clues will have to be alert, as we've already mentioned. Just let the ball go out and they'll have another opportunity. Burnley's right on the byline on this near side. Peters and Warren at the top of the arc. No goalkeeper for Lions, so they'll have to be careful of any ricochets. Ball's going to spin through to Warren. Warren might get a shot away. He's just unable to do so, but he'll battle with Merkus now. Merkus is going to keep this ball in. And now he'll want the ball off Warren. Still going to fall for Lions. Opportunity here for Byrne to get the ball in. And he just can't steer the ball home, and it's a really good opportunity for Lions. And they will have another corner. And this is really good pressure from the team that finished 4th on the ladder in this 4-team competition this year. Peters up against Yucatil. Merkus has the bib, so there's no 2-on-1. Yucatil's going to try and get that ball out from Peters, who goes on the defensive, and now on the offensive straight away. That's good work from Tristan Peters. There's just sheer weight of numbers, though. It's going to come back, though. Burley. Yucatil having to do a lot of work here, Sam Yucatil. You can hear the tyres screeching and see the slide of Sam Yucatil's chair, but now he's got the ball away. Parry trying to get out of danger, and Burley. Opportunity perhaps for Peters. Merkus is going to cover, and Merkus does really well, and that's a really good outlet ball from Jack Parry. It will go out for a goal kick, just about. That was very promising from Lions.
Yeah, get your heart racing a little bit. Last 5 minutes.
Yeah, just over 3 minutes remaining.
Oh, it was a sideline kick. Okay, Lions are doing another substitution. So Tom Burns is coming off and Bailey's coming back on.
Bailey Abra. What can Lions do? That's a striker's ball, so they'll have to defend before they go forward, and again, time is running out for them to make too much of an impact on the striker's defence. Merkus just trying to work out his angles. Again, you mentioned the importance of trigonometry earlier.
Yes, not a fun subject in maths.
Oh, Merkus is going to have a shot here.
Oh, no communication there.
So despite the fact that Merkus is wearing the bib, his eyes lit up, but because he's outside the area, he can't create that 2-on-1. Is that right, Jesse?
No, that was a 2-on-1. Josh, Merkus and Sam Yucatil gave away the 2-on-1 there. There was just a bit of lack of communication of who's going to get the ball.
I'm sure there's an element of Merkus seeing the ball and wanting another opportunity to strike it towards goal, because he, as we've already mentioned, has got a fair few goals in his career, 53.
Contacts there, they're going to call it. Bailey just taps Josh there. That's where chair control comes into it.
So Merkus with the free hit.
I reckon he's going to channel it between Sam and Jack straight down to goals.
Deflection off Jack Parry, but Merkus will have another go. Peters had to go away then because Burley was the Lions player in attendance. Burley gets back past the ball. Parry was in attendance. Now Peters has to back away again because Burley's getting a little bit too close, so to avoid that 2-on-1. Again, that positional awareness is so important as the tyres screech once again. Good defensive work from Burley.
Josh still has it down the sideline.
It's incredible ball control from Merkus. He seems to be able to keep it stuck to his grill so many times. It's really impressive.
Yeah, as you can tell, Zach's getting a bit annoyed there. Josh just driving down the sideline so he can't get around the ball.
So again, that positional awareness, that chair control from Josh Merkus. 2-0 the score as things stand. Mark Simon Green, our referee today, has just had a look at his watch. Can't be too much time left to play as Merkus and Peters go at it again. just locked up a little bit at the moment. Peters probably needs to take a chance more than Josh Merkus, but it's a redundant problem to face now because Strikers have beaten Lions by 2-0. Both of them scored by Sam Yucatil. Jack Parry with the assists. Jesse McCarthy, just a couple of final thoughts before you go and get ready for your semi-final against Moreton Bay United.
Pretty good game. Both teams had lots of passing opportunities. Strikers just able to polish up on the execution a bit more. When all the games are this competitive, it's just all about that tiny little finite execution. And Strikers were just able to do it a bit more. And Lions, unfortunately, so make for an interesting next game.
It will, and the next game is between Brisbane City and Moreton Bay United. You're Brisbane City, so we'll say goodbye to you now.
Yep.
And thank you very much for joining us. Best of luck in this match.
Thank you very much.
And probably see you in the final.
Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that. Jesse McCarthy, who has just gone over, or will unplug his wheelchair and make sure he gets ready to for this next semi-final. We'll just have a very brief break while the teams that have just played have a bit of a debrief, while we make sure we get a new co-commentator for the second match. It will be Tristan Peters who gets that next co-commentary spot, and then Moreton Bay United against Brisbane City. The second semi-final will be up in about 5 minutes' time.